Well, good morning, caged humans. I hope you're all doing well on day 8. Yesterday, I had a great chat to Miki from the Robertson Superspar.
We didn't pick this. We are retail workers. We never signed up to be first defense warriors. As if everyone thought the virus was only going to become contagious at 12 o'clock on Thursday nights. Even I did some panic buying, so please don't feel bad.
Did you pay for it or did you just take it from the shop? Because you do own it. So before we get into today's podcast, I need you to remember a few things. Number 1, this is a long format podcast filled with loads of great information. Number 2, hit the thumbs up button so that we know that this is helping you. Number 3, comment down below. This is a great place to share your thoughts with myself and Miki. Number 4, sharing is caring. So don't forget to share this with your friends and family and those living in our community, because in this we deal with a much better way to shop while we're on lockdown. So enjoy. I know you're at home at the moment. Thank you for your time and for just allowing us to ask you a few questions. I think the public is really dying to know a few details. You know, there's so much fake news out there, and it's great to hear the good stuff from the people who make the difference. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think, because of time, we're going to jump into the questions straight away. And hopefully our internet works nicely from both sides and we'll go from there. I think first question is, what was the week leading up to lockdown? How was that time for you guys at the shop?
So after the announcement, we had extremely hectic week. It was as if everyone thought the virus was only going to become contagious at 12 o'clock on Thursday night. So everybody was rushing. It was busy in store. People were anxious and agitated, I suppose would be the right word. It was definitely those 3 days were by far the busiest we've ever had. It even beats our 24th of December Christmas shopping rush.
The gigantic lead up to sort of the sanitizing situation, everybody was rushing around. I know personally, I was trying to get hand sanitizer, having my own business and people in my office as well. How were you guys able to do it so quickly?
I think because we kind of anticipated the lockdown coming, we all had already seen what had happened in China, what was busy happening in Italy. So, from our perspective, we were waiting for it to happen. So we'd already a couple of weeks in advance started adding an additional 5-liter sanitizer and as we could. The suppliers had already started stopping or controlling how much we buy or order for quite a while. So we would order additional 1 unit here and 1 unit there just to start stocking up on our bulk, what we use in store. In terms of what was available for customers, the retail side, that's been out of stock and very limited stock available since January due to the fact of China production coming to a halt.
You told me earlier on 147, is that right?
Yes, including owners.
Yeah, so you had 100. I mean, you got to get hand sanitizer and all these things for 147 people. I mean, that is a challenge. I was a little bit of a panic buyer. I try to control myself. Let's be real. I think everybody was nervous, only purely because of the lack of information. Everybody was just worried. How was that panic buying for you guys? And did you run out of things quite quickly?
Even I did some panic buying, so please don't feel bad.
Did you pay for it or did you just take it from the shop? Because you do own it.
No, we always pay for everything. Okay, but when the panic buying started, the first thing was toilet paper. Then we started seeing tinned foods, the dry pulses, that kind of stuff with long shelf life that was multifunctional type of products that we saw a lot of panic buying happening. What we didn't see as much, which I think some people will start realizing, is the stuff that they didn't think about. Toothpaste, sanitary products for women. It's interesting standing in the front of the store and watching the public as they go about this.
Did you find that because what I could see going out and buying some things myself, as you said, nobody was really concerned about the safety. Did you find it was difficult to also keep your staff safe from this huge group of people coming into the store?
Especially last week and the week before, we were getting very conflicting information from Department of Health and Safety and, regarding the hygiene and about how do we approach it. Should they be wearing gloves? Should they not be wearing gloves? Should they wear masks? Should they not? So, and even still, the World Health Organization advises you not to wear gloves and not to wear masks, but the general public feels safer when we do. Our staff are also human. So you have to understand they're getting the same information, and we were all terrified. I mean, it's a horrible thought going home tonight to a family and thinking, oh, what if I was in contact with somebody today and I didn't know? So we really tried to enforce with them to continuously wash their hands. The cashiers had to try to remember to sanitize, spray sanitizer on their counters and on their hands after each transaction. Unfortunately, when you start getting to a point where you've got 1,000 customers in store, and we at one point were there where they were queuing from the tills straight through to the butchery, that's the queues we were dealing with, it becomes sort of impossible for the cashier. She's just trying to push as many people out as she can. Social distancing was not enforced. And then trying to tell customers, can you please keep a meter distance? They get irritated, they get annoyed, you can't move, there's no space. But yeah, the staff definitely initially very terrified, very scared of going home. We identified our high-risk staff, the ones that we know have got medical issues or conditions that would compromise them, pregnant staff, etc. And we tried to get them to places in the store where they could do isolated jobs, working in the back, in the kitchen, or in the office, or out of harm's way where they would have less contact. Unfortunately, that wasn't possible for everyone. But yeah, it's scary where we are. And one of the comments I made to a few people was, when you go study to be a doctor, you go there and when you do your Hippocratic oath, somewhere there's the possibility that you might be called to arms, if you want to call it that you might be put in a situation where you have to deal with this kind of thing. We didn't pick this. We are retail workers. We never signed up to be first defense warriors, which is exactly what's asked of us. We're putting our lives and the health and safety of our families, our kids at risk. And this was never part of my job description, quite honestly.
I think there was again no prep time. It's not like we had 3 or 4 or 5 months to say, let's put our staff through training, let's get them understanding what's coming and preparing for the wave. I think yesterday my chat with Dr. Venter was the medical has a bit of time to prep in this thing, where you guys, Monday announcement, you've got 4 days to get everything together, and just massive people coming in. So good on you for the things that you did do. I think you guys did a great job, and we can really commend you guys on a job well done under the circumstance that you had no time to prepare. You had some really good initiatives leading up. Again, something that you guys jumped into quite quickly was these home deliveries, which I'm sure was a logistical absolute nightmare. How did it go? What was the response? And do you think people used it and appreciated it?
From a logistical point of view, yeah, it was a difficult thing, but it was so well received from the community, not just Robertson, Ashton and McGregor, amazing support. Unfortunately though, for now, because of the volume amounts of orders that started flooding in, I got to a point where I couldn't get the orders out, doing the deliveries, it became a logistic nightmare. But we had a lot of people offer assistance in terms of doing, drivers driving for us and doing deliveries. And then we had our meeting with the SAPD the day before lockdown, and they advised us that if we do continue with deliveries, we have to make sure that we get a complete traceability logbook in place. If I go do a delivery from one house where I possibly become in contact with somebody that is positive, and I go to the next delivery and I inadvertently transfer the virus, and they can prove it back to me, and I can't show a traceability logbook of everybody that I was in contact with, I become liable. All of that just becomes this paper admin war when we're trying to do a good thing. And at the end of the day, if I've got other people driving for me, I can't put that responsibility. It would be unfair of me to try and put that responsibility on somebody else, which is why we then said we can't do deliveries. I can't take that risk. Yeah. The other thing with doing deliveries is that stock needs to be delivered in a certain way. So you have to consider the cold chain when you're delivering meats and perishable products. We haven't got those kind of delivery vehicles. It's just not there. Definitely in the future, I've already started speaking to developers to try and develop an online app for me. Definitely will look at rolling it out in future. Unfortunately, again, we didn't have enough time to prepare for it. And that was why we then offered this WhatsApp order system where we still bring the stock out to your car. You just become your own driver for your delivery. The WhatsApp order system is working gangbusters. It is going brilliantly. It's keeping my staff busy, and it's reducing the amount of people we have in store in the contact as well. So keeping us and our staff just a little bit safer.
Phenomenal job. Great helping the community, and yeah, just really, really good. So that was everything leading up to Crazy Week, madness, absolutely nuts. We're roughly almost a week into this lockdown. What does the shop look like? Are people still using it? People still shopping? What's going on?
We do have feet in store, not the amount that we saw last week. It's definitely calmed down, and there are strict measures in place to control the amount of people that are moving in store.
There's a great Afrikaans word, bangbroek. I'm afraid almost to go outside to the front yard. So people are still coming in. Do you find that they are a little bit more aware of safety now?
Unfortunately, we do see people coming in that are not adhering to the rules, or might be. I'm not sure if ignorance is the right word, but yeah. They still look sort of surprised when my staff try to give them hand sanitizer and want to take their temperature. We've had the odd one or two people that have asked, why are we taking their temperature?
So you take people's temperature when they come in? Again, I haven't left the house, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, that's now part of the new safety implementations. We've also got a COVID management team that's got to meet on a daily basis. They have to go over if there's any new legislation that's come through, any new rules that we have to follow. And then also they've got to keep a logbook. If anybody suspects that there is a COVID positive person in the store, they immediately have to report it. If a person looks ill, they might be sweating or coughing or whatever, one of the COVID management team would have to approach them, take their temperature, assess whether they think they're a risk in store. And then they have to keep a log of these people. So they've got a logbook where they would record that person's name and contact number, etc. Because your temperature gets scanned before you're allowed entry into the store. If your temperature is over 37.6, you are advised to go see a doctor or contact a doctor. 37.6 is fairly low. That's low-grade fever, but still it's the beginning of a fever. 38, you won't be allowed into the store at all. And then with the staff, we've converted one of our offices into a sick room. So if a staff member is feeling unwell, they're also scanned. Our staff are continuously scanned throughout the day. If a staff member presents with a fever, again at 37.6, they would be sent to the sick room where they have to sit for half an hour. Then after half an hour, they are scanned again. If their temperature drops, they're allowed to resume work. So that's pretty much what's been happening at store. And then we also obviously limit the amount of customers in store. We only allow 50 people in store at a time. Their hands have to be thoroughly sanitized before they're allowed in. And then it works on a queuing system.
I just need to tell all our listeners, these are incredible things that I did not know. Check your temperature, make sure how many people are in the store, all that to make us feel safe. And I just chatting to Miki now, I feel a lot safer just understanding the system of everything that's going into keeping the store running. So again, Miki, awesome stuff. Just really good. And I think it's so good for people to know this. I don't know this. It's not something we're just going to find on Google. So thank you for taking the time to tell us all of these things. People think big shop, Superspar. There's a lot of overhead salaries. You've got the lights need to stay burning, hand sanitizer and things that are not, the money's not coming back to you. How are you able to keep your shop running under these circumstances?
We are not corporate stores. We are independently owned stores. So unlike Checkers and Pick n Pay, and I would just like to clarify that does not include Robertson Pick n Pay because they're a family store, so they operate the same way we do. But like Checkers and Pick n Pay, who are corporate stores, we don't have corporate funding or corporate money supporting us. The cash flow I have is what I have. If that's done, it's done. So to answer the question, we make educated guesses when we do purchases. We try to think the way customers would and anticipate what would be the panic buy items and make sure we have enough stock of that, and what are the items that would be less required or less in demand, and cut on those to try and manage purchases and cash flow.
But surely it must be a challenge, though. I mean, there's challenges that we are all facing. You, as a service to the public, how is it not a challenge to think about running a full store at capacity for less hours, less clients, and still having to remain open? Surely that must be a challenge, Miki.
Definitely is. And I also think that there's something that the general public doesn't understand, that governments put a lot of measures in place and a lot of funds available as, relief funds available to businesses at the moment. What most people don't realize is us as independently owned stores don't qualify for that, because we don't form part of the small, medium business enterprises. So most of the relief solutions available from government are not available to us either. But yeah, it's a challenge. It's managing staff, it's managing expense items like packaging, stupid stuff. So yeah, there are expense items we can cut on. Unfortunately, I can't cut my electricity. I can't just switch my fridges off. So even though Tops is closed, I can't just switch it off. It's still stock that needs to be, there are certain items that still need to be refrigerated.
Listen, I think our listeners will definitely help you out by keeping the stock from your bottle store at their house if you need to, switch those fridges off. I'm sure you will have a long line of volunteers. We don't want to encourage stockpiling because everybody needs to get it. Is there a specific product that you think people should get if you've got it in stock? Or are you confident that you're going to be able to supply what people need?
No, there's nothing that I would outright say stock up on this, or that I in the immediate future foresee having stock issues. We might not specifically have all gold tomato sauce, but we will have a tomato sauce. I think at this stage where we are right now, it's just a matter of people can't be as brand specific as we always used to be. We might be out of stock on Spar baked beans, but we'll have Koo baked beans kind of thing. But the general what we need, we've got, and we don't foresee major stock issues on the basic necessities going forward.
Good advice. I think that's great advice, and I think that people need to hear these things because we make better decisions when we're educated. We make bad decisions when we're guessing. So fake news, a big topic on our podcast. We are trying to get rid of fake news. And a lot is in the media when it comes to retailing and prices and bloating prices or making things way more expensive than they are. There's a lot of that out there. And I've seen a couple of posts this week is that some people are saying, oh, these things are so expensive. And this one's trying to sell hand sanitizer at an exorbitant amount. And that one's selling pies at a crazy amount, and I think there's a lot of these things going around. So in my opinion, it takes 2 seconds to make a fake post and post it, and people believe it, and there it goes, and it becomes trendy. How can people trust that retailers are not going to do that to the public?
We have got a system in place that determines pricing, which is governed by our SPAR central office. And we try as far as possible to strictly adhere to that and to not use this time of panic to abuse or take advantage of people out there, if that answers the question.
Yeah, I think people in general just want to know that they can sort of trust the local retailers to have, I mean, we understand, we've just discussed it. Things are expensive. And they're getting more expensive. The rand is sitting at almost 19 rand. It's 18 rand 40 today. So that's coming. That's definitely coming. Those price hikes are coming, regardless.
Sorry, Monet, that was actually the other thing I wanted to say now was the one thing that I do want to emphasize that customers must just be aware of is we're sort of in the time of the year where all of our price increases are coming through just after the budget speech and the State of the Nation address and all of that. And then on top of that, you have to factor in the economy and the cost of import, exports, etc. So we're at the time of the year where the price increases normally come through. So it wasn't it was just bad timing. It wasn't a matter of people trying to take advantage or abuse. The price increases were set 3 weeks ago, for instance, to go live tomorrow. That wasn't a decision made lightly today, oh, let's put up this price or let's do that there.
What can we do to help you do your job better? What can we as a community do to make your life easier? Because you are serving us. You're doing us a favor by staying open, going through all these processes and putting things in place. What can we do to help you, Miki, and your team to do your job better at serving us?
When I read the question the first time, when you sent it to me earlier, I was thinking of saying, be nice, but I really can't say that. Everybody has been amazing, so supportive. So just continue doing that, and just patience, please, and understand that we really are trying our best. But the one thing that would help is to start using the WhatsApp orders. We make up the order for you. We bring it out to your car to limit the contact, to try and keep as many people out of the store as possible, but still getting your groceries to you. So I really want to encourage people to try to use the WhatsApp order system.
For those that don't know, never used it, how does it work? What do we do?
We've got a WhatsApp order number where you basically just write your order. You can type it, you can write it and take a photo and send the order through. But pretty much, I wrote mine on a piece of paper this morning and just took a photo of it. But anyway, you just send it through, and then what we do is we pack all of your stuff into boxes if we have boxes available. Otherwise, we use those brown paper bags. And then once the order is ready, we phone you and tell you that it's ready for collection. We take your car's registration number. We've got guys that stand in the door with walkie-talkies. When they see your car drive in, they radio to the beantry and say, this car is here, please bring the order out. We come to the car with a credit card machine. We load it into your boot, and then we swipe your card and off you go. You don't even have to get out of the car. We make sure that the card machine is sanitized before we bring it out to you to mitigate risk. So yeah, easy, quick.
I asked that question to Dr. Fenter last night. Do we need to disinfect all the bags that come from the shopping center? The reality is don't touch your face. It's quite simple. Don't touch your face. Thanks for those details, Miki. We really do appreciate it. And I think that we do want to make your life easier, and we do want to support local. You are local. You're a family. You support the community, and the community in this time needs to strongly support local. Shops that are owned by people that actually live within our community and in our town. This is the time for us to genuinely come together and stick together and support. And if you are making the effort to make our lives easier, we need to make the effort to support you. What can you sell and what can you not sell? How's that working out?
Okay, so at the moment, we're prohibited from selling liquor and cigarettes, and then any prepared takeaway type foods. I do want to clarify, frozen ready meals that are prepackaged, not ours, frozen ready meals, they are not prohibited. We do still sell those. But at the moment, any hot prepared foods, it includes pizzas, unfortunately pizza and sushi. So any takeaway type foods, cigarettes and liquor. With regards to cigarettes, on the National Government Gazette, it was listed as one of the prohibited products. Unfortunately, at the moment, there's a lot of conflicting information coming through via social media and radio from our provincial government, and this is causing a hell of a lot of conflict for us at store level, where our provincial government has said that they have lifted the ban on cigarettes, but it hasn't come through on paper via the National Government Gazette. SPAR as a group have collectively made the decision to only follow the National Government Gazette, and therefore the provincial changes will only be honoured once it comes through via that channel. The long and the short is we can face very big fines, even being arrested in jail time, if we go against the National Government Gazette. So until such time, unfortunately, as a group, we've made the decision not to honour the Provincial Gazette.
Through this whole conversation, you are there to serve the public and to help the public and to best serve them under the limitations that you yourself are having to abide by. You are not trying to keep cigarettes away from people. You are following a guideline because you are restricted to do so. So the second you are able to sell things, you will let the public know. They can check you out on Facebook. It will be a nationwide announcement when people are allowed to go and buy cigarettes from SPAR nationwide. Obviously, this has affected you guys in certain ways, time, all of that sort of stuff. So how's this affected you personally?
Initially, when the schools closed, because both Helmut and I were working, we had the kids staying with my mom, but we were fetching them in the evenings and then bringing them back home. But then it got to a point, by about the 20th, where Helmut and I was saying, we know that there aren't any cases in Robertson yet, but we've got so much traffic going through Robertson and so many outside people from Cape Town, especially when the schools closed. We had so many Cape Town people coming through, stopping here, that we didn't know who we're coming into contact with, and the risk of us contracting the virus is just so much higher because we're so open. So Helmut and I made the decision that the kids would rather stay with my mom and we wouldn't fetch them at all. The biggest worry is not so much my kids getting sick, but more my mom, because of her health, her age. She is a high risk for that. And leaving the kids with her during the day, bringing them home and then taking them back, if we get it, we give it to the kids give it to her. So the long and the short is, we haven't seen our kids since the 20th of March. They've been with other than on WhatsApp video calls, and they've been with my mom, locked up in my mom's house. That's been really tough. And then it's when Helmut gets home, it's the whole procedure from getting home, walking straight in, going straight into the bathroom, taking off your clothes, packaging it into a plastic bag until it goes into the wash, washing your hands, sanitizing everything before he's allowed to touch anything in the house, just to try and limit the amount of exposure we have in our house. So it's difficult. It's really difficult. I hope I'll see my kids next week. Hopefully.
Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for the energy that you're putting in. I want to reiterate, support local, because local in these times support you. And so yeah, each of our listeners, everybody out there, thank you so much for all that you do. And I think we all need to practice a lot more patience with each other in this time, and understand that you and your team, your staff, your husband, your partners within the business are doing their best in the current circumstance to help serve the public. So thank you, Miki. Quick one. What is the third most sold item in your store? So we know that it's toilet paper, and we know that it's probably hand sanitizer, or was. What is the other big product everybody's buying?
Actually, it's not hand sanitizer because it wasn't stock. So not the second most sold item, most asked for item. But your third most sold item will surprise you. It's yeast, and not just for baking bread. After that is pineapples.
Wow.
Yeah. I think we have a lot more craft gin coming
there
through
we
in the
go,
next couple
craft
of
gin.
months.
I like that, craft gin. Well, again, Miki, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Monet.
Yeah, so everybody, that was a fantastic chat with Miki from the Robertson Superspar. Again, a great big thank you to her, for her team, her time, all the energy that they put into really making our lives a whole lot better. And I think, as we said in the podcast, this COVID-19 has affected everybody. There was someone said yesterday, this is not a trial run. We're not practicing. We're in it, and things and decisions are being made every day that affect the businesses that are still having to be open, and they have to comply to those in the best way that they can. So let's all support each of the retailers in this time that are allowed to be open, and even those that are not allowed to be open. We need to be constantly thinking of ways that we can support our community in this super challenging and difficult time. So I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Again, these are long format podcasts. They're a lot of information. Looking forward to our next one. We've got some great guests coming up, and I hope all of this just gives you a bit of an insight of what's happening in our community during the crazy time of COVID-19. See you next time. Cheers.